The line inside Riverside National Bank moved slowly that morning, but no one missed the sight of the elderly woman standing near the door. Her coat was tattered, her shoes worn to the sole, and a small cloth bag hung from her trembling hands. People whispered, some laughed, a teller muttered under her breath, "Probably here to beg again." But the old woman just smiled softly, her eyes kind despite the cold around her. Her name was Martha Lewis. No one in that bank knew she hadn't come to beg. She had come for something far more important, something that would change every life in that building. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The manager, Clara Brooks, spotted Martha from her glass office. She frowned. "Security," she said curtly. "Remove that woman. This is a bank, not a shelter." The guard approached, his voice sharp. "Ma'am, customers only." Martha lifted her gaze slowly. "That's exactly what I am," she said gently. "A customer." A few chuckles rippled through the line. The guard folded his arms. "Do you have an account here?" "Yes," Martha replied. "I've had one for many, many years." The teller rolled her eyes. "Sure you do. Maybe a few coins, if that." Martha said nothing. She reached into her small cloth bag, pulling out a crumpled envelope. It was old, but the logo on the paper was unmistakable. Riverside Holdings, Founders Division. Clara froze. She recognized that seal it was from the bank's founding documents, something few had ever seen. The crowd murmured as Martha stepped forward, her steps slow but steady. "I need to make a withdrawal," she said softly, "and I need to speak to the board." The teller scoffed. "The board? You can't just—" But before she could finish, the sound of polished shoes echoed behind them. A man in a dark navy suit had entered. Mr. Raymond Hale, the CEO himself. His expression shifted when he saw the envelope in Martha's hands. He approached her with sudden caution. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said. "May I see that document?" Martha handed it to him without hesitation. He unfolded the yellowed paper and his eyes widened. The signatures were real. The ink, though faded, was the same used when the bank had first opened over 60 years ago. One signature stood out. Thomas Hale, his late grandfather, the founder of Riverside National. Below that was a second name, Martha Lewis. The room fell silent. Raymond looked up, stunned. That's your name." Martha nodded. "Your grandfather and I started this bank together," she said softly. "He handled the business. I handled the finances. I invested everything I had back then. My home, my savings, my trust. But when I fell ill, I lost everything except my shares." The manager, pale now, stammered, "Miss Lewis, we had no idea." "No," Martha interrupted gently. "You didn't want to have an idea." She turned to the customers, the same people who had laughed. "You all saw a poor, homeless woman, but you didn't see the person beneath the clothes. You didn't see the years, the effort, or the faith that built this very building." The teller's hands trembled. "Ma'am, we're so sorry." "Please," Martha raised a hand. "I'm not here for an apology." Her voice was calm, yet firm. "I came to see if this bank still had what my partner built it upon, integrity." Raymond took a breath. "Miss Lewis," he said, his tone respectful now, "what would you like us to do?" She smiled faintly. "Treat people better, the poor, the tired, the ones you think don't matter." He hesitated. "And your withdrawal?" Martha's eyes twinkled. "I'll take it in change." The crowd laughed softly, but this time, it wasn't cruel. It was amazed. Raymond stepped forward. "Actually," he said, "there's something I'd like to do." He turned to his staff. "Effective immediately. I want a fund set up in Miss Lewis's name, the Martha Lewis Human Dignity Foundation. We'll use it to help people find homes, jobs, and dignity again, because no one who built this place should ever feel like they don't belong in it." Applause broke out, gentle at first, then swelling through the marble halls. Tears glistened in Martha's eyes as she whispered, "Thomas would have liked that." Raymond smiled. "And I think he'd like to see you return as our honorary chair." She laughed, the sound soft but full of light. "You mean this old lady still has work to do?" He nodded. "The most important kind." And for the first time in years, Martha walked out of that bank not as a stranger, but as its heart reborn. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. Outside, the wind caught her worn coat, carrying the scent of rain and new beginnings. The same bank that once turned her away now carried her name, a quiet promise that no one is ever forgotten to matter again. You've been listening to Cinematic Whispers, where stories remind us that dignity never fades, and kindness always comes home. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs hope today, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that whisper to the heart.